Al Roker and Deborah Roberts have long been considered one of America's most grounded and beloved couples. Warm, accomplished, family-minded, and deeply respected, they've built a life rooted not in Hollywood glamour, but in genuine partnership, authenticity, and quiet grace. Deborah, an award-winning journalist, is admired for her integrity and heartfelt storytelling, while Al, one of television's most cherished personalities, has won hearts for decades with his humor, optimism, and unwavering resilience. But even the strongest couples face private challenges, moments of uncertainty, moments of emotional distance, and moments that never make it to the cameras. And recently, Deborah revealed an experience that shook her in a way she didn't expect. A moment that made her realize Al was keeping something from her, something heavy. According to Deborah, the shift began subtly. Al, usually upbeat and openly communicative, became noticeably quieter, more withdrawn. At first, she thought he was simply overwhelmed. Al had been juggling early morning broadcasts, health maintenance, charitable projects, and the stress of navigating life's constant demands. Deborah had seen him tired before. She had seen him stretched thin by deadlines and responsibilities. But this time felt different. He wasn't just exhausted. He was distant, distracted, and he had a way of drifting out of conversations that left Deborah with an uneasy feeling she couldn't quite explain. The man who normally shared everything, whether about work, the news, or the little frustrations of everyday life, was suddenly keeping parts of himself hidden. Deborah later described it as a quiet shift in the atmosphere, a subtle but undeniable change she couldn't ignore. One evening, after their children were settled for the night, Deborah noticed Al pacing the hallway. He seemed restless, almost as though he was practicing a difficult sentence in his head. When she gently asked if something was bothering him, he brushed it off with a soft smile and a kiss on his cheek. But Deborah knew. The warmth was there, but the honesty wasn't. Something weighed on him. Over the next several days, the distance only deepened. Al stepped out to take calls, avoided discussing his upcoming commitments, changed the subject whenever she tried to check in. For someone who spends her career reading body language and uncovering hidden truths, Deborah found herself struggling to decipher the man sitting across the dinner table. She wondered, was he facing a health concern? Was it about work, a family issue, or something he simply didn't want her to carry with him? The silence felt heavier with each passing day. The turning point came one morning during breakfast. Al sat quietly flipping through a stack of documents, clearly preoccupied. When Deborah casually asked if everything was okay, he hesitated, not briefly, long enough that her instincts confirmed what her heart feared. He was keeping something significant from her. She described the room falling still, as though the truth had finally caught up with the uncertainty she'd sensed for weeks. Later that day, after an emotional pause, Al finally opened up. What he had been hiding was deeply personal, tied to his career, his health, and the future of their family. He had been offered a major new opportunity, one that required intense time commitments, long stretches away from home, and a level of physical demand he wasn't sure he could manage. Al, always protective of those he loves, didn't want to worry Deborah or disrupt her work. Deborah admitted that while she understood his intentions, the secrecy still hurt. But instead of reacting with anger, she responded with openness. She reminded him that their marriage has always relied on honesty, partnership, and shared burdens. She told him she didn't need to be shielded, she needed to be included. Their conversation stretched for hours. They discussed fears, priorities, family balance, and what truly mattered to them. And in that moment, the distance that had built between them dissolved into understanding. If this emotional look into Al and Deborah's private moment moved you, don't forget to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and join us for more stories that reveal the truth behind the headlines.